that's, let's just call it the overarching frame for circling. And I want to sort of tell my story of how I, came into the awareness that I have. So basically, I discovered circling in the summer of 2016. In the fall of 2016, I moved to Boulder, and I was sort of intensively circling in there at the Boulder Integral Center, which very sadly is now defunct. But it was an amazing place in the day. When I left Boulder, which was November 2016, I discovered Circle Anywhere. Circle Anywhere was about a year old at that point. And I just fell in love with the practice. And I was on Circle Anywhere every day for about a year. And, Circle Anywhere, as most of you know, is a product of Circle in Europe as well. And, I call it sort of the greatest bang for the buck transformational deal on the planet, in terms of the pricing. $50 a month for unlimited therapy. Are you kidding me? The leadership is excellent. There's a lot of groups to go to. It's not positioned itself as a circling training, but the thing is, you can't circle without becoming a leader. The goal of circling, to my mind, is to become a leader, right? To become a relational leader, which is basically showing up in vulnerability, owning your experience, communicating responsibly, all the things that we know lead to, relational effectiveness. So I did that for a year, and, I will confess in the beginning, I wasn't very good. I really was just totally unaware of my impact on other people. I call it recovering asshole. And really, it took me like 2 or 3 months to even begin to grok the practice, despite, 30 years of therapy and groups of all kinds and other kinds of developmental work. So, circling, it really is a very different frame, a very different paradigm for looking at human relationships and human healing and the process of transformation. And, the more the deeper I go into the practice, the more excited I become about it, and also the more effective I get in my leadership. So just about the time I was beginning Circle Anywhere, I took a big leap of faith, and I formed a private group. And that group went on for about a year, and that group was very successful. After that, the first group folded after about a year, and then I formed the second group, which was the men's group, and invited David and a bunch of friends into it. And that group had, we're now in our past a year and a half. We've been meeting, every week pretty religiously, and every time we go deeper. And all of our lives have been transformed in very unexpected, somewhat miraculous ways. And I won't even go to that story, but I moved to Asheville. I'm starting businesses. I'm building community here. This is sort of I'm kind of living my dream life, really. Pretty much thanks to the circling practice. So this is the first aspect that I want to highlight is the aspect of a group that has continuity. As opposed to a drop-in type of situation, the Circle Anywhere, and you can go very deep even in a group that's it's a drop-in group. But for me, the real power is when you're meeting with same people every week, so that pretty much you start already quite dropped in. As opposed to spending the first half an hour or 45 minutes or 58 minutes just getting dropped in, and then getting to the prize, which is the last 2 minutes of the session, which used to happen to me a lot, by the way.